Hi, I'm Charu Kumari, and I host the podcast, The Story with Charu. And this whole last season, season 5 of my podcast, I've been talking about the cycles that need to be broken, the patterns, the things that we all engage in that needed to be challenged and needed to be changed. And a lot of really interesting information came out, and our guest said really interesting, inspiring sorts of things about what people need to confront, right? And 2020 has really been an odd year and a year of confronting all of society's ills, because I feel like all of those chickens kind of came home to roost. The things that we had inequities in as a society and societies across the globe, we were really seeing those things come to the forefront, like how is food distributed? Who are the most essential workers really amongst us, right? Even the lack of science understanding in this country. And one of the very interesting and awful things that has come out of 2020 to me is, and maybe this is good because maybe these things are coming to the surface so we can deal with them, but how divided we are. Definitely as a nation in the United States, and I feel like even globally, really seeing something completely different, from each other. And nothing, of course, highlighted this more than the election in the United States. And everybody kind of felt like, I heard this from a few people that, well, I feel like we'll be on a better course, but I'm not happy. And the only thing that I think, the reason I think that is because it's upsetting to look at those numbers after the election and see that so many people thought that the course we were on was the right course. And I don't know if we're ever going to see anything eye to eye if you felt that way. And that is a struggle for me, because I've always been somebody that I like to build consensus. I'm a good communicator, and I like to kind of be able to present sides like that. But I don't know how I could ever come together with somebody that thought that that was the proper course to be on. And I'm struggling with this because it has been a really tough year for it's been bad for a lot of people, but here's why for me it's been so hard. We have 2 kids at home. One of them has ADHD that is very hard to manage, and we've really tried everything. So to teach this kid at home, and I've tried it all, okay, has just been so hard. And I feel like it didn't have to be this way. When I look at my own little circle and I think it didn't have to be this way, then I look at the broader context of the country and the deaths. We're losing more people a day in the United States than we lost on Pearl Harbor, in the attack on Pearl Harbor. It's crazy. It didn't need to be this way. It was going to be bad no matter what. It's a pandemic, and whenever a pandemic rolls across the world, it is hard. But it didn't have to be this hard. And certainly firing a pandemic response team your first 6 weeks in office is probably not a good idea. And so all of this has kind of left me thinking, where do we go from here? Like, can we come together? Can we come together as a nation or a world, or people that see even science so differently? Like, how can we come together, and can we? And I don't know that we can, and I don't want to keep being the one extending the olive branch, because I think, frankly, some of these people don't want to come to the table with us. And they don't want to come and sit down and understand the perspective of brown and black folks, of women, and even just scientists, or just facts, things that, like, there's nothing political about this virus and how it operates. There isn't. It is what it is. And if you don't believe that, you will learn it soon enough, because there's so much of the reservoir that those of us that are doing the right thing, staying home, staying isolated, right? There's only so much of that we can contain before it explodes, and it's already happening in some places. So I don't know how you come together with people like that. I said when 4 years ago, in 2016, I told a friend that, like, people will get it when they're hurt, when they personally feel the pain of this election. And I had a black friend, who said, well, by then it'll be too late, because so many brown and black folks will have been hurt by the policies put in place. And that's true, but that's how I feel. I feel like that's what it's going to take to wake people up, and that's awful. I don't know. And so I struggle with this feeling. And in the next season of this podcast, that's kind of what I want to get at. Because part of me is like, some of these folks just keep wanting to call you out. They keep wanting to kind of start a fight, and it's very obvious, right? They want attention. They call out elected officials. They call out people counting the vote, certifying the vote, say that they should be shot at dawn. You keep looking for a fight, you might get one. And at some point, we can't keep bringing a knife to a gunfight with these people. It's kind of like when we talk to our kids about bullies, we told our son, hey, you have a bully at school, you have an issue, they're telling us about whatever. Okay, tell them to stop. All right, tell them, look for an adult, look for a teacher. Okay, that didn't work. Then you go up to that bully and you hit them in the face as hard as you can. And I kind of feel like that is what we are dealing with some of these folks. It's a bully that you've got to stand up to. The other part of me is like, I don't know. Is that the answer, or is it more empathy and understanding, or just it is what it is? I'm going to do me and protect my family, and good luck to you. I hate to think that way, but if that's what it is, I don't know, maybe. I want to explore that in the next season of this podcast. I want to talk more about why, how do we get here, and how can we work together? How can we come together? Can we? If we can't, what should we do? My son came over here to the door and distracted me. So that's what I'm going to be exploring, and I hope to have some great guests. We've done a couple of interviews at the end of this year. So 2020, as it draws to a close, I'm going to take some time off. Today's show is the last show of the season, the last show of the year. You can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. Just look for This Story with Charu. And there's a lot of great past seasons and great people to listen to as well. But I'm going to take some time off, and I'm going to think about my intentions and my New Year's resolutions for 2021. And honestly, they're so simple. Like right now, all it is just be calm, don't lose your temper, try to get some exercise every day. Like it's so basic, because so many of us are just struggling. We're back to almost that survival thing, right? Where you're just trying to make it through the day. So I'm going to explore that, and that'll be in the new year. And I hope that you get some time to be safe and just peaceful and make it simple over the next 2 weeks, your holidays and everything. And I hope, as always, that you find something that makes your soul light and happy. Take care.